You're listening to 772 Sports, a local Treasure Coast sports podcast highlighting everything from Little League to the NFL. Here are your hosts, Curtis Carpenter and Mike Higgins. All right, everybody, welcome to the 7th episode of the 772 Sports Podcast. This is Curtis Carpenter. I'm here with Mike Higgins. What do we got for the folks today, Mike?
Let's go, man. So we're opening up some hockey talk, right? You're going to teach me a thing or two.
All right.
A little NBA.
Play.
Yep. We got some. We're getting into high school playoffs for football.
That's right.
And, of course, we got MLB and NFL. So
World
I'm
Series.
excited. And
tied 2-2.
Tied 2-2. No hitter last night. Kind of a big, and we're only 50-something days till Christmas, Curtis. So
here we go. Let's get it started.
Let's go.
A little high school talk here. Treasure Coast Chatter. All right, we're going to talk a little Treasure Coast football here. The season is practically done.
Yep.
Vero Beach High School's regular season's done. They did win their district. You want to talk a little bit about Vero, what they got coming forward?
Yeah, man. So I think that they're on bye this week, right? This is the last week of the regular season.
Yep.
They're on bye, so I think there's not even sort of who they play yet. I think some games matter this weekend towards if they get a playoff bye. I heard that they have a shot to get a playoff first round bye as well, depending on what happens this week.
Well, just to give a little background, we haven't recorded in 2 weeks, but they did lose a game. They were undefeated as of our last podcast. They did lose to Martin County. I think that was kind of a trap game. They beat Treasure Coast, who was way better than their record indicated. They were 3-5, but they were 3-1 in the district. Vero beat them 10-7 in overtime. Definitely, unequivocally, the toughest matchup they had. I know they lost to Martin County, but I'm telling you right now, Treasure Coast is better than Martin County. But Vero finished the season 9-1. They did officially win their district.
They did.
Like you said, they have a little bye. We're going to see how the seeding places. I don't know how that works now.
I don't either.
Okay. So they're 4S, District 12, I think.
Yes.
And so they won that, but I don't. Do you know anything about how the playoffs work?
I don't know who they play, and I think it's still up in the air. Like I think this week matters with who they play.
Gotcha.
So I do know that I was shocked when they lost to Martin County because they're not a very good team.
Yeah.
I did some digging and I didn't realize that Tyler Aronson got hurt in that game.
Yes.
So he only played like the first quarter, and he didn't play against Treasure Coast,
which is wild.
I did not know that.
The toughest opponent that they played, they're arguably their best player. I would say that Jacobs is their best player, but Aronson is 1A and 1B.
Absolutely.
Their best player didn't play at all, and they still won. So,
yeah, that's wild.
Impressive.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's the news for Vero Beach High School's football team. I have some seasonal stats if anybody really cares. Aronson, who, like I said, arguably the best player on the team, the quarterback, he went 121 for 183 this season for 1,683 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 7 picks. So a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio.
And a game and a half, he didn't play. He would have probably had 2,000 yards or right out.
Oh, yeah.
I think a game and 3 quarters he didn't play. So.
Yep. So those are his regular season stats. Vendravius Jacobs, again, I would say is 1A or 1B on best player on the team. He had 69 of those 121 passes. He had 69 catches, 1,177 yards, and 18 touchdowns.
18 of the 21 touchdowns.
Jeez Louise, that is wild. So, and then my boy, Quincy Rogers, running back, 75 carries, almost 500 yards, 497 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And then somebody we haven't really talked about, I don't think, freshman running back, Jonathan Hillsman, 34 carries, 215 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And if you do the math on that, I'm not a rocket surgeon or anything, but that's almost 7 yards a carry.
Yeah, he's good, man. I kept having him in my notes, and we would just get long-winded on it, and I would never bring him up, but he's good.
A freshman.
Yeah.
Mike. He's a freshman.
Yeah.
So this kid's going to be here another 3 years.
Yep. What is Quincy Rogers? He's a senior?
I don't know.
So
I didn't write it down.
He's a junior or a senior, so
I don't know.
Maybe
Quincy, comment on the YouTube or send us a tweet. Let us know what class you are. I don't think he's a senior.
No.
But
might be a junior.
Yeah, I don't know. And then just one more player of note, Justin Woolard, 266 punt return yards this season, which is kind of a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, if you think about
for college.
How punts usually work out, kick out of bounds or fair catches or whatever. Stellar regular season for Vero. That's the story about Vero.
I did get one defensive stat I do want to share. Keyshawn Campbell was the team leader in sacks and tackles. He had 5 sacks, 30 solo tackles, and 68 total tackles.
Holy cow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. No, that's a hell of a season.
So I wanted to give the defense some love.
Yeah. And unfortunately,
it's hard to get the...
Yeah, we don't have a lot of defensive metrics, defensive stats. Max Preps doesn't really go over that all that much. That's really where we pull these statistics from. But I wanted wanted to just mention, the knock on Vero is, hey, great regular season. They're going to lose in the playoffs. I do want to remind everybody, Vero played 5 teams this year that were in the playoffs last year.
Right.
So it's not your standard weak Vero schedule that you get every season. This is a Vero team that played really good competition this year. I am very excited to see what they can do in the playoffs here.
I am too, man. We have tickets for the first playoff game, so I think we have 2 for you. So I think I have 4 total.
All right.
So
we're going.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Let's do it. It'll be wild, man. It's if you've never been to a Vero game, it is wild, especially during playoff time. I think they have so many home games because of how wild that stadium is and how they fill it.
Yeah, if you're just a listener and you've never been to a game, you got to go. You got to go. It's almost like on a college level. It's a Division II college level atmosphere.
Yeah.
So anyway, go Vero. Hopefully they do well. We'll see what happens. We'll follow you guys up next week with what their schedule looks like.
Yep.
Moving on, John Carroll. They've already won their district. They're done. They're 7-1. They do play Melbourne Central Catholic tomorrow. Melbourne Central Catholic is 2-7, so I don't expect much from them. However, John Carroll again already won the district.
That is still a regular season game though.
Yes, I believe it is. Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, John Carroll plays another game. I think, and don't quote me on this, I think we're going to get Mickey on next week.
Oh.
I think we're going to get him on next week.
Big time.
So we're looking forward to having head coach Mickey Grudy on the podcast at some point. I'm trying to schedule that for our next week podcast. But yeah, and then he can fill us in on whatever they're doing with the playoffs.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, again, they're a 1S.
So that's again, the smallest.
Small, well, but there's a lot of talent in those lower divisions.
Yeah.
We'll move on to Sebastian. They beat American Collegiate Academy last week, 28-20. They do play Palm Bay tomorrow. Palm Bay 6-3, and then that's it. Their season's over. No playoffs, no anything.
Oh yeah, they're freelance. They're the weird.
Yeah, they could finish the season 5-4 and not play a playoff game, which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
but
that's. Well, I still, and we don't know all that went behind that, but I still think that's a robbery to those kids. Like
we gotta find out. We gotta call the AD and figure this out.
Yeah. So
that's Sebastian. And then St. Ed's, they lost to an all-name team school.
This cracked me up when I read it last night.
All-name team school, Out of Door Academy. And I'm not making that up. I couldn't make that up in a million tries. The name of the school is Out of Door Academy. St. Ed's lost to them 36-14 last week.
I think I read that was actually a playoff game, right? That was the first round of their playoffs.
Oh, I did not realize that.
I read in Max Preps, and they lost. They were 3-4, I guess. So I don't know. Maybe
I did have that their season is over, so that makes sense.
Is over.
That's in my notes. They did also lose to Palm Beach Prep in a regular season game the week before, 42-0. But I do want to just share some stats from Dylan Redmond, who again I think is best player on that team. This is kind of wild. Check this out: 87 for 167, 87 completions and 167 pass attempts. 1,181 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 6 picks. You look at those numbers and you think, okay, that's all right. Then he had 38 carries for 268 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And you look at that and you're like, oh, okay. And then he had 8 catches for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns. And you look at that and you think, oh, okay. But when you put all that together and realize that's the same player, he's the Shohei Ohtani of high school football.
So he also had 2 interceptions on defense. And get this, he was the punter.
Oh my goodness!
So,
this kid. I mean, listen. You look at these numbers and you think, oh, individually, these are all pretty good.
Yeah.
But when you put them all in one package, this kid is a one-man band.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Seeing his stats every week, it was like, what did he do this week? Like the Swiss Army knife.
Oh my goodness, Mike!
It's cool to see.
Really neat.
Yeah, it's cool to see. I'd love to, and I'm working on getting his dad on to kind of talk about the season, give us kind of a recap of what happened. But yeah, Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, it's a shame. He is a senior, right?
Yep.
He's a senior.
Yep.
His season's over. I don't know where he's committed or where he's planning on going or what he's planning on doing. He used to be, and again, we'll find out from Dad, but he used to be a hell of a baseball player as well, and he might still be. I just don't know. But
I think I've seen he plays lacrosse too, so I'm sure he's going to have some options on.
Yeah, I mean, this kid has got to play athletics at the next level. I mean, nobody with that much athletic talent should quit this point.
I would think.
So, and there's got to be a school out there that's just yearning for somebody like that.
And a quick shout out to they have a kid named Sam Thomas on their team, and I'm sorry I don't know his year, but he had 27 catches, 615 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So that's solid.
That's over 20 yards a catch, right?
Yep.
Holy
that's
cow.
solid.
Yeah. So that's it for Treasure Coast Chatter. It's kind of light this week, but we are heading into playoffs. So we'll see what we get next week. Again, we're going to try and get head coach of John Carroll, Mickey Grudy, on the pod next week. So, check it out. Next up, we've got Mike's favorite.
What are we doing?
College football.
Oh, let's go.
Here we go. 772 Sports is brought to you by Vero Beach Social Media, your local digital marketing agency. From Facebook advertising to graphic design to podcast production, Vero Beach Social Media has you covered. Contact them today at 772-999-6636 or visit VeroBeachSocialMedia.com. College football Gridiron Gab. All right, here's a little Gridiron Gab. This is our college football discussion. For those of you that aren't normal listeners, this is Mike's favorite subject.
Love it. I love it better when Miami's good.
I was just going to say, when Miami loses, this is not Mike's favorite subject.
Nope. But we won last week.
Miami won, so he's back to loving Gridiron Gab.
How you win a game in 4 overtimes and not scoring a touchdown is, I don't know, but we did it.
Hey, and against a not very good team.
No, but we're to the point in the season where a win is a win is a win.
A dub's a dub.
So we're going to take it.
All right. So do you want to start with that? Miami played Virginia.
Yep.
Miami won.
It was it 12?
14-12 or something like that?
Yeah, so they won with 4 field goals and a 2-point conversion.
In overtime.
Yeah, if you follow the new NCAA overtime rules, they do 2 overtimes that are regular, which is you get a drive from the 25-yard line to score. You have 4 plays unless you get a first down. So it's essentially like a regular game. It's not timed or anything like that. But then after the second overtime, you just go for 2-point conversions. Period. There's no running. It's
you get 1 play from the 2.
That's it. 1 play from the 2-point conversions. They won it that way. 4 overtimes, didn't score a touchdown. There's not much to say from it. Defense played good.
Did Van Dyke play?
He didn't. Jake Garcia started. He struggled. Obviously pretty bad. He was a 5-star coming out of California. Maybe just a little bit too big. Virginia still has a good defense.
Yeah. Well, obviously. I mean, I don't care who you're playing. If you hold a team without a touchdown, that's
So and 4 overtimes too.
Yeah.
Which only 2 of them you get a chance to score a touchdown. But still, so he struggled a little bit. I do think Van Dyke's going to be back this weekend, so that'll be big.
Yeah, he didn't play because of injury.
Gotcha. Yep. Gotcha. He's a little banged up. I think it was his shoulder. But, I think they more set him just to get ready for this weekend. I think he could have played if he had to, but that's where we are.
What else did we have from last week? Georgia beat Florida. We all kind of expected that. Notre Dame beat Syracuse.
Yes.
That was kind of a surprise. Not for me because I picked them.
You picked that.
But I think for most people that was a little bit of a surprise. Any other big shockers there? The biggest shocker of the week, in my opinion, Kansas State shutting out Oklahoma State 48-0.
We both had Oklahoma State in the pick.
Oklahoma State's a top 10 team, and they couldn't score a point. Against the number 22 team in the country.
Unbelievable.
That is, that's shocker central. The next biggest shock of the week, in my opinion, is UCF beat a ranked team. Holy cow.
They beat Cincy, who is a solid team. Hey, solid team.
It's the only ranked team the UCF's going to play this year, unless they play a bowl game, which they will. Yeah, they're bowl eligible, and they might draw a ranked team possibly in a bowl game. But now UCF's ranked.
The only ranked Florida team.
The only ranked team in the state of Florida. How wild is that, Mike?
Yeah, that's
no Florida, no Florida State, no Miami.
That's wild.
At one point, USF had a little run. At one point, FAU had a little run. The only ranked school in the state of Florida, UCF.
Wild.
Crazy. They're going to call themselves national champions now. Tennessee just whooping the tail out of Kentucky.
Yeah, a ranked team.
Yeah.
And beat them pretty bad. So Tennessee's the real deal.
Yep.
I think we've known that for a while, but yeah, that's it as far as surprises go, I think, or
that's
big surprises.
Michigan beat Michigan State, no surprise there. UCLA beat Stanford.
Ohio State beat a ranked Penn State team, which we expected.
Yep. But that's wild. So the first playoff ranking came out, which again, for those of you that don't quite understand how this works, there's the AP poll, there's the coaches poll, there's the ESPN poll, there's all these polls, but the only poll that really matters,
the others mean nothing,
is the college football playoff ranking system. Okay, it's not a poll. It is some sort of wild algorithm that they've come up with where they rank your strength of schedule, your strength of victory, the conference you're in, the name of your firstborn. I don't know what all factors they use, but in this algorithm, they plug all the numbers in and they see what pops out. And the biggest surprise to me, the absolute unequivocal biggest surprise to me, is that the Tennessee Volunteers are the number 1 ranked college football playoff team. That's nuts, Mike.
But I do think they got that one right.
Do you think Tennessee is the best team in the country?
Well, if we're going just by what they've done so far, they have the number 1 strength of schedule. So them being undefeated, they've beaten Alabama. So I think that they deserve it.
All right.
I think they deserve to be number 1.
I still think Georgia's the best team in the country.
I would agree, but Georgia's 3.
Yeah,
that's wild to me too.
Yeah, they're not even number 2, Mike.
Nope. I did my 4, and it was Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State. And I think I had Michigan 4.
Yeah, I would play right now. Clemson is number 4 in that. I believe Clemson's number 4 in that college football playoff poll. I might sub out Clemson from Michigan, but listen, in recent history, Michigan has just failed at the end of the year. Let's be frank.
Yep.
So I don't know if I believe in Harbaugh. I don't know if I believe in Michigan yet.
Nope.
They're always right there. They're always right on the cusp, and then they face Ohio State, and that's it.
Yeah. And it's always late in the season. It's always a late loss that kind of is a sour taste in the mouth. And, I think it's going to happen
It'll
again.
be interesting to see. Exactly. I mean, they do play each other.
Yeah.
Ohio State's going to play Michigan in a couple of weeks, and we're going to see what happens there. Right now, I have Georgia, then I have Tennessee, then I have Ohio State, and then I have Michigan. That Ohio State-Michigan game will obviously pop somebody out of that most likely.
Yep.
I mean, I guess if Michigan wins by a point or 2 points in 5 overtimes or something like that, I could see Ohio State still being up there. But the reality is one of those 2 teams is going to get knocked out of that playoff hunt.
I would think, yeah.
And then somebody like a Clemson will probably move into that spot.
TCU, too, is undefeated.
Yeah, they're what, number 7 in that playoff ranking?
It's wild to me that Alabama's ahead of them. Now, Alabama's only loss is to the number 1 Tennessee. Right. So I don't know how much you can penalize them, but TCU is undefeated. So that's
so again, it's the first one, Mike. I don't remember, when does the next one come?
They come out weekly now.
Okay, all right. So they come out every week until the playoff begins, and then those top 4 teams are just in it.
That's it. Until next year, it'll be 12 teams.
So number 1 will play number 4. So if it started today, which it doesn't, but Tennessee would play Clemson.
Yep.
Ohio State would play Georgia. Those 2 winners would face each other for the national championship.
That's it.
All right. So a little shocker here. In that college football playoff format, LSU is number 10.
Yeah, that's wild.
They have 2 losses. One to a Florida State team that's 4-4,
5-3, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, 1 to a not very good Florida State team.
Yeah, that's wild to me. And they're going to get exposed. So I think actually, is it this week? Who do they play this week? They play Bama this week.
Okay.
So they're going to get exposed.
Yeah, LSU is going to play Alabama. Alabama's we'll get into the pick'ems, but they're a 13.5-point favorite. Yep. It is in the Bayou.
Yep.
So if LSU could somehow pull this off, I'll give you your top 10 ranking. I don't think they deserve to be there right now.
Right. I agree.
Especially when they're probably going to be 6-3 at the end of this week.
I agree. And, I see a scenario. Well, actually, I don't, because I don't think LSU has much of a chance. But should LSU knock Alabama off, that's going to clear Alabama out of there, which is.
Yeah. So now you got a whole huge mix up.
Yep.
I mean, because now you're talking about not just a Michigan in there, but now you're talking about possibly, like you said, TCU, or who's the 6th team right now, or the 5 or 6.
5 is Michigan, 6 is Bama, 7's TCU, 8 Oregon.
Okay, so Oregon might slide into that spot a little bit.
Oh, and we'll get into this more with the picks, but Tennessee versus Georgia's this weekend. Huge. Man, 1 versus 3.
Yeah, so
we're going to see who belongs real quick.
I think that's all I had for last week. All I have about the playoff thing. If you want to get into the pick, no. Well, let's get into the pick'ems, and then in the pick'ems we'll talk about Miami and Florida State.
Okay,
big game, 2 unranked teams, but it is the biggest game between 2 unranked teams between you and me, because we got to watch this thing together.
I have 2 more little small points that I wanted to talk about. You want to do it now or before the pick'em?
Let's do it before I cough my lungs out.
So, did you see the fight in the tunnel between Michigan State?
I didn't see it. I heard about it. I know Jim Harbaugh was pretty upset about it. I guess the Michigan State players got
8
suspended.
players so far. It started off with 4. Now there's 4 more. They're talking about getting some police stuff involved, pressing charges, which I think absolutely should happen. They jumped this guy.
It is a little bizarre to me how if you do this in the street, okay, there are 100% charges filed.
Absolutely.
If you do this in a tunnel at a football stadium, there aren't.
Wild.
And I don't quite understand why there's a difference. Why there's a difference.
I mean, there's clear video.
Yeah.
You could see the numbers, the names.
Yeah.
You got everything of them beating up on this guy. So there's no place in football for that.
No, not at all.
I would fully support police being, some charges being brought up to, the worst of the offenders. But I wanted to see if you saw that, your thoughts on it.
I didn't see it. I heard about it. My opinion on it is rivalries are great. Rivalries are phenomenal, especially in college football. It's really what sets college football apart from the NFL is the student base, the rivalries, all that. Chirping is fine by me.
Yeah,
I don't mind trash talking back and forth. I don't mind a little shoving on the field, even after a play, maybe a little bump or a shove.
Get your team
a
little
like
motivated.
That. When you're jumping guys in a tunnel, zero room.
Yeah,
zero room. I don't care if it's Michigan State. I don't care what the reasoning is. This is assault. So that's my take on it.
I'm surprised that it doesn't happen more often with a lot of these shared tunnels and stuff when they go in at the same time. But
I think that there's fear of police intervention.
Yeah.
And I think that fear may have gone away, or that fear wasn't there, or something superseded that fear in this case. But this is why we have laws in this country.
Well, if, press some charges on these guys and this stuff doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
So the other point I had was we've been talking kind of about this all season, and he has something like a $5 billion buyout. But is Jimbo Fisher on the hot seat? He's 3-5.
Oh my God, Mike! If you had told me 2 years ago that Jimbo Fisher would be 3-5 and that he'd still be the head coach at Texas A&M, I'd tell you you're crazy. Again, the only thing keeping that guy in his seat is he's got $80 million buyout, $100 million buyout, whatever the difference is. But
these A&M boosters will absolutely pay that.
Kevin Sumlin has had a better record than Jimbo Fisher in his first, 50 games or whatever the number was. We've chatted about this, like you said, over the last couple of weeks. I don't know what's going to happen if the boosters are willing to buy him out. I think you just have to. I think you need to find the root of this problem, though. Is it Jimbo? Which I think it might be, but before you spend $80 million, you might want to diagnose the problem.
Right.
And if it's not Jimbo and you get rid of him and you get someone else in there, I don't know, an Urban Meyer or somebody. Again,
Deion Sanders, maybe?
Deion Sanders, whoever it happens to be. If you get them in there and that problem still exists, you've just lost $80 million for literally nothing. So
it has
they need
to be a coaching
diagnose
issue.
The problem. I think it's Jimbo.
Has to be.
But I'm not in it like they are.
Right.
These boosters know this stuff in and out.
I mean, he's had the number one recruiting class a top 3 recruiting class 2 or 3 years in a row. Right. There's no reason for him. So they're 3-5, right, Curtis? So
they may not make a bowl, Mike.
Their last 4 games, and I'm going to say there's one definite win. UMass is maybe the worst team in America.
Right.
Like they're the bottom 10 on ESPN. They're the worst team. Other than that, they have UF, Auburn, and LSU. There's a situation where they go 4-8.
So UF is a toss-up. Florida should probably win that game. Auburn, they will probably beat. I think Texas A&M is
Auburn,
better than Auburn.
coach. Yeah.
So there's 5 wins, and then LSU.
Yep.
Who we just talked about,
10.
top 10 team.
Yep.
Dude, they're gonna get 5 wins. You need 6 to be bowl eligible, right?
Yep.
Mike, if they don't go to a bowl, they gotta fire.
He's got to be out. He's got to be out.
Got to.
So that's where I'm at on that.
All right.
That's all I got for the week.
All right. Well, that's it. That's your college football Gridiron Gab update. My favorite portion of all of these podcasts is just our pick'ems. So, so let's go over, I guess, our overall records, and then let's get into this week.
Yeah. So you're 56-24, 3 games ahead of me. I'm 53-27. We've actually finished the same the last 2 weeks. It was this last, and I accidentally threw the paper.
Oh,
this last week
Mike's
was like
go through notes.
5-5. We were like,
oh my God, 5-5.
It was a terrible week.
And this is
last
straight
week.
up. We're not going against the spread.
No,
so
but in fairness, I pick all normally pretty close games with single digit spreads on it.
Lines.
So it is straight up, but it's usually good games.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you ready to pick this week?
Let's do it. Who do you got first?
Let's go with probably the biggest game of the week, not for us, but just for the rest of the country. Number 1, Tennessee at Georgia. Georgia's actually favored by 8.
So this is a 3:30 game.
Yep.
And when it comes to college football, there aren't a lot of games where I schedule out my day.
Yeah.
I'm scheduling out my day. Saturday at 3:30. Actually, what time's the Florida State? Okay, that's what I thought. So yeah, my butt will be in the couch from about 3:15 until about 10 p.m.
So
on
it'll be like
Saturday.
a Sunday, but on a Saturday.
And then I get Sunday too. Dude, is this heaven? All right, so my pick is Georgia. Again, I think they're the best team in the country. I will pick them every week when they play anybody. I am very high on Georgia. I think they're great. I cannot believe they're number 3. I think they should be number 1, and I think they will be number 1 after Saturday's game.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Georgia. I do see a scenario where Tennessee could win this game, but I like the pedigree of Georgia. They've been there. They've been in these big games. I need to see how Tennessee's going to react as the number 1 team.
Yeah.
So
they finally got to the top, the old Rocky top.
Yep.
And can you stand your ground?
Yep. I'm taking Georgia.
Yep. All right, so we both have Georgia.
That's it.
All right, what's next?
So this is a hard one to pick. Number 18, Oklahoma State versus Kansas. Kansas was ranked. They're not ranked anymore. Oklahoma State is favored by 2. They're at Kansas.
If Oklahoma State doesn't come out and score 50 points, I don't know what to say about them. I mean, I'm picking them. Now, Kansas was 5-0.
Yeah, they were ranked.
And they've lost 3 in a row.
Yes.
Okay, I think they're going to lose 4 in a row. I'm going to pick Oklahoma State.
I'm going to pick Oklahoma State strictly off what happened last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have some motivation to get out there and score some points this week.
Yep.
I mean, again, they got shut out last week.
Yep.
That just doesn't happen in college football.
No.
I mean, teams
team.
have to score a point.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
So, I think Oklahoma State wins.
I'm with you on that. So, number 20, Syracuse at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's unranked, but they are 3.5-point favorites.
Yeah, again, Syracuse ran into a really good Notre Dame team last week. I think Syracuse beats Pittsburgh, even though Pitt's favored. It is in Pittsburgh. I get it, but I'm going to take Syracuse.
No, I'm with you, too. I think they're going to be motivated. I think that I watched a little bit of that game, and they just played like crap against Notre Dame.
Yeah, and Notre Dame's underrated. I know that people rarely say this, but Notre Dame is underrated right now.
Yeah, that's something people never say.
Yeah,
that's normally the most overranked team on earth.
Yeah, they're not a bad team, and they beat Syracuse, who might be mildly overrated, but Syracuse is a good team.
Syracuse is
and
good.
Pitt just is okay.
Pitt's got a good quarterback, but they don't have much around. But behind that, Slavis is good. He's going to be an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you.
All right.
So
What do we got next?
Number 25, UCF at Memphis. Memphis is 3.5-point favorites.
I pick on UCF all the time, mainly because they call themselves national champions when they obviously aren't. UCF's not bad. They're 6-2. Who they lose to? They lost to Louisville. And I can't remember the other game that they lost. It was a bad team. But, UCF coming off a big victory against Cincinnati, playing a mediocre Memphis team. I mean, again, it's an intra-conference game. That American Athletic Conference is just horrible.
Yep.
So I think UCF wins. And the 3.5-point spread, I feel like it should be higher than that.
Yeah. Well,
maybe it's because it's on the road.
Well, Memphis is favored.
That's what oh shit.
Memphis is favored.
No, UCF's got to be favored.
I'm checking.
In that game.
I'm rechecking.
If Memphis is favored, that's a Vegas trap.
It's one of them trap games.
No way, Memphis. It's possible.
Big chance that I wrote this wrong.
I think UCF's got to be favored in that
Hold
game.
up.
And 3.5 should probably be more like 5.5, 6.5.
3.5 UCF.
Okay.
So you are
UCF
correct.
is favored.
I wrote it on the wrong side.
All right.
So good.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. We're both taking UCF anyway.
All right.
Number 6, Bama. At number 10, LSU. Bama is favored by 13.5.
This is where it's beneficial to have multiple televisions in your house, Mike. This game will be right alongside the Florida State-Miami game. Now, the sound will be on the Florida State-Miami game. But this is going to be a great game, Mike. I think Alabama wins. Again, it's in the Bayou. LSU, a little overrated, I think. Number 10, they should probably be 15 or 20. Alabama, possibly a little underrated. 6, they should probably be 4 or 5, somewhere in that range. So, I'm taking Alabama. I'm taking them big. 13.5 is probably appropriate. I see a 2-touchdown win there.
I agree. Completely agree. I think Bama's gonna roll them, kind of expose LSU. I don't know how LSU got to 10, but whatever. They're gonna get exposed this week, and if they don't, then we'll come in here and eat crow next week.
In the NFL pick'ems, I eat crow every week. So I've got to put my foot in my mouth every single week. So.
Number 24, Texas at 13, Kansas State, and Texas is a 2.5-point favorite. So Texas 2.5-point favorite at Kansas State, who's the higher ranked team.
Yeah, I mean Kansas State is the higher ranked team. They are the underdog. They are at home. I'm going to take Kansas State.
Nice. So we're different on one. I'm taking Texas.
Yeah, not knowing that much about either team.
Yeah.
I just looking at this from a very the 10,000-foot perspective. You're at home. You're higher ranked, and you're an underdog. You have a better record. I got to take that. I got to take Kansas State there.
Yeah, I got Texas.
All right, we got one different.
And I got Texas because I'm behind you 3 games, and I've got to pick my spots here. So next we got 21 Wake Forest at 22 NC State. Wake Forest is favored by 4.
Okay, I think both of these teams are probably a little underrated. Again, they're ACC, so I don't know. Maybe this is appropriate, but I like Wake Forest a lot. I think Wake Forest is a really good team. I know they're on the road, but is it really on the road? I mean, they're like 10 miles away from their campus. I'm going to take Wake Forest. I know they're 4-point favorites. They should probably win by a touchdown or more, but I'm going to take Wake Forest.
Yeah, I'm a Wake Forest guy too. You know, I love their quarterback, Sam Hartman. He's also going to be, I think, an NFL guy. Maybe not a starter, but he's going to be on an NFL roster. NC State has a good quarterback too. Devin Leary's really good. But again, I like where Wake Forest is at, so I'm going to take them. They're favored, so we both got Wake Forest.
Perfect.
Let's see.
Were there any others?
Yeah, we got a couple more.
Well, I know we got one more at least.
We got 3 more. I try to do 3 a week. Let me see. Okay, I think this is North Carolina.
Well, North Carolina plays Virginia.
That's it.
Okay.
I got my writing was a little off there. I don't know what happened.
Can't read your writing there?
Yeah,
All right.
that happens sometimes. Number 17, UNC at Virginia. UNC's 7.5-point favorites.
I don't know why you put this on here, and maybe it was because Miami just barely beat Virginia, but North Carolina should curb stomp this team.
I think so too, and I did it because I'm running out of good games.
Okay,
So,
got it. All right, that makes sense. I'm like, why is Virginia's 3-5 on here? And I'm like, oh yeah, they just barely lost to Miami. Maybe that's why.
Well, unless there's a really good SEC team, I always defer to the ACC because we're both Florida State Miami guys.
Gotcha.
So I always do an ACC game if I can not find good ranked. I like to do ranked versus ranked.
Okay.
Like that. Here's a good one: Florida at Texas A&M. Neither team's ranked. Texas A&M is favored by 3.5.
All right. So I've played this game before, and I'm going to play it again. Okay.
Yep.
The only way Jimbo keeps his job, I think, is for them to be bowl eligible.
Yep.
For them to be bowl eligible, they got to beat Florida.
Got to.
Nobody in this country, other than maybe Nick Saban, prepares for a must-win game better than Jimbo. Normally, I would take Florida. If this was just like when Texas A&M played Miami.
Yep.
Normally, in a normal, all factors unchanged game, I'd take Miami in that game.
Yep.
In this game, all factors unchanged, I'd take Florida. But because of the current circumstances, Jimbo has to win this game, or this might be his last Saturday on the football field in College Station. I got to take Texas A&M.
I got you for Texas A&M. I'm going to take Florida in the upset.
If Florida wins, maybe I should have done this for Factor Cap. But if Florida wins, is Jimbo out on Sunday morning? You're 3-6. You're probably not going to make a bowl at that point. Your only real victory is UMass.
I mean, I don't know if he's out on Sunday morning, but I would think that your seat would be so hot that
I'm telling you right now, boosters are calling around for funding.
Yeah.
On Sunday morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm taking Florida because of Anthony Richardson. He's a legit playmaker. You're taking Texas A&M because of Jimbo.
I'm taking them because I know that he is up at 3 a.m. preparing for this game.
Yeah.
Because again, when he was at Florida State, this was his mantra. This is what he did. He prepared for games better than anybody.
Yeah.
With the exception of that time they lost to Oregon in the playoff. I'll never forget that. But, they didn't prepare very well. But, he just prepares very well for games and for must-win games.
Yeah, this is a win-win for me. If Florida wins, I gain a game on you.
Yeah, right.
And if they lose, I'm happy because I'm always happy when they lose.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point. Well, I'm taking A&M.
I'm taking Florida. So last game of the biggest game, biggest college football rivalry. We got to get together
and watch this, Mike. Maybe we do a podcast during the game or something. I don't know.
There's a good chance I'm pissed off during this game. So
all right. So give us the specs.
FSU at Miami. FSU is favored by 7.5. Did that stay the same?
Yep.
I think that stayed the same.
Last I read. So it's in Hard Rock Stadium. So it's down in Miami.
Yep. It's in Hard Rock.
Yep. Miami coming off not a great victory.
Not a great victory. Backup quarterback. Number 1 receiver was out. So they did have some stuff out on.
Florida State coming off an okay victory. They beat Georgia Tech pretty handily, but I mean there was some sloppiness there. Georgia Tech
worst team in the ACC, but
they're not good. And Florida State should have beat them by 50 instead of 20 or whatever.
Should have.
But I mean, listen, I cannot in good conscience take Miami.
You can't.
So I'm gonna take Florida State. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to pick a game up. But yeah, obviously, for those of you that aren't normal listeners, if you haven't picked up on this by now, I'm a huge Florida State fan. Mike's a huge Miami fan. They're finally playing each other this Saturday, 7:30 in Miami. I'm going Florida State.
Yeah, I'm going Miami. Because I have to. Florida State is probably going to win the game. Miami's not very good this year.
I'll tell you what, I don't like this line though.
Yeah, it's a big line.
7.5, and really it's the hook.
Yeah.
I think Florida State can win by a touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of pathways there where they win by more than that. I think this game stays really close. I think it stays within a score, probably the entire game. I could see a field goal being the determining factor in that game. God forbid we have a wide right or a wide left or something like that again after the last 30 years of all that. But I see this being a pretty close game.
I do. I like the quarterback play. I like Tyler Van Dyke and I like Jordan Travis. I think it's going to be a good game. Miami's best receiver is going to be back. Xavier Restrepo. I do honestly objectively see Miami can lose this game, obviously, but it's a rivalry game. They play it good every year almost.
In the past, when one of these teams was really, really good and the other team was really, really bad, and we've had that flip-flopped over the last couple of decades, they always play close.
Yep.
These two teams are actually pretty close, talent-wise. I mean, neither team is that much better than the other. You might want to give Florida State just a couple inches on being better, but they're not miles better than Miami. And you could even argue that Miami might even be better than Florida State.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this game.
I am too. I think Miami is going to, Miami is a top 10 defense, so it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
And, I'm eager to see what Jordan Travis does. You guys maybe have the tallest wide receiver I've ever seen. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've got Miami. You've obviously got FSU.
Yep.
So,
all right. Is that it for Gridiron Gab?
That's it. I could talk about it all day, but we'll end it there.
All right, let's get into the World Series.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Around the Horn. All right, this is our Major League Baseball talk around the horn. We only have two teams left, Mike.
Yep.
Phillies and Astros. They are tied 2 games apiece. Again, this is as of Thursday. We're recording this Thursday morning. It will be released Thursday afternoon. There is a game tonight. Game 5 is tonight. I want to, again, we haven't really chatted in 2 weeks. So there's a lot to kind of dissect. Yankees couldn't put it together against the Astros. The Phillies came through against San Diego, thank God. Phillies come in just hot as a pistol. And they win game 1. They were down 5-0. Yep. Verlander gives up 5 runs to tie it up.
Unbelievable.
They win late. Game 2, the Astros come back. They get a win there. Game 3, I think Lance McCullers was probably tipping pitches.
He was, yep.
Gave up 5 home runs. First World Series pitcher in the history of baseball to give up 5 home runs in a single game.
Yep.
He was definitely. I've heard arguments. No, he wasn't. If I'm a fat ass 38-year-old sitting on my couch and I can see this guy tipping pitches, and his breaking balls weren't sharp, I'm pulling that guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then last night, something that was kind of wild. A combined no-hitter.
Yeah.
So that's it. So Phillies win game 1, Astros win game 2, Phillies win game 3, Astros win game 4. Tonight is game 5. What's your synopsis on this, Mike?
Christian, you're going to have to fight me to take me out of that game, right? You and I are going to have to fist fight.
So a little background there. Christian Javier has a no-hitter through 6 innings.
Yeah.
He had 97 pitches.
97, but a lot of pitches.
Dusty Baker comes and pulls him, and he's cruising. So here's a question. And I'll let you answer first. Have analytics ruined the game?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to go as far to say as it's ruined the game, but it's definitely changed it.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate that Stan Javier didn't have an opportunity to throw a no-hitter in the World Series.
Yeah, you would have had to, back in the day, you would have had to fight these pitchers to get them out of the, 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, Nolan Ryan wasn't coming out of games.
He's not, it's game 4. He's not starting another game.
Yeah, he might start game 7. And
depending on how much space they have in between the games.
So I was talking to my 12-year-old son is a big Astros fan. He listens to this podcast. What's up, Mike?
That's so weird.
So I was talking to him this morning about it, and he has a pathway. Again, he's 12. This is kind of crazy. And maybe he needs a job in the front office in Houston. But he's got a pathway for Javier to start game 7. He doesn't want Justin Verlander to start another game.
So When is Game 7? How many days away?
Game 7 is so let's go over the math. Today is Thursday. They play.
Yep.
Tomorrow is Friday. They're off. They play Saturday. They play
Game
Sunday.
6 Saturday. Game 7 Sunday.
So he pitched Wednesday night. So he'd be off Thursday, be off Friday, be off Saturday. He'd be on 4 days rest. 3 days rest.
3 days rest.
3 days rest.
I mean, but
after not giving up a hit.
But what are we talking about? Like, if he can go after 3 days rest, why can't he go
110,
110, 130, however many pitches he wants? But, I don't agree with that, but I'm not Dusty Baker.
And they had a sizable lead.
Yeah.
Here's my other take on this is why do you burn bullpen arms when you have a game the next day?
Yeah.
Instead of riding this guy out.
Yeah. There's no reason. Like, you can't give me a good reason he couldn't have went 25, 30 more pitches.
So Dusty Baker in game 1 keeps Verlander in too long, right?
Yep.
And won't use the bullpen.
Yep.
Game 3,
yep.
Dusty Baker keeps Lance McCullers in too long. Doesn't want to burn the bullpen.
Yeah.
Game 4, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Game 4, Christian Javier's in.
So
and they
quick
pull him.
So quick.
To go to the bullpen. If the Astros, and again, they won yesterday. Don't get me wrong. But if they lose today because they don't have arms available out of the pen,
yeah,
Dusty Baker has outmanaged himself of a World Series.
Yeah, it's like
he could have won game 1. They had a 5-0 lead.
Yeah.
Pull Verlander. He's starting to get shaky. Get him out of there.
Yep.
Game 3, you could have won game 3. Lance McCullers in the second innings tipping pitches.
Yeah.
Pull him. Get him out of there. You're down 2-0. It's a manageable game.
Yep.
Now it got out of hand. It was 7-0. It's too late. Game 4, you burn bullpen arms. If the Astros win this World Series, it's in spite of Dusty Baker. This is a Dodgers World Series right here.
Yep.
If the Dodgers win, it's in spite of Dave Roberts.
Yep.
If the Astros win, it's in spite of Dusty Baker.
Yeah, he's been terrible with the bullpen and the starting pitching. But that's kind of how it is these days. These guys accept it. The players accept it. But I feel like 10 years ago, you're gonna have to fight somebody to get them out of that game.
Well,
it's unbelievable to me, but they won. So,
but I'll tell you what, the Astros are lined up. They have Framber Valdez tonight. They have Justin Verlander tomorrow.
I don't know.
It wouldn't be tomorrow. It would be Saturday.
I don't know if Verlander's really considered lining up. He's been big time struggles in the.
Yeah, I know, but he's the Kershaw of the Astros. I mean, he's still a guy that he's an ace.
Yeah.
He's an ace.
He's an ace, but he's been 10 times worse than Kershaw in the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe 5 times worse.
Five
yeah,
times
he's been worse.
Kershaw's been pretty bad.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah. Anyway, so
so you're taking the Astros to take this.
Well, I picked the Astros.
You did
early before the playoffs started.
We both had the Astros in the World Series.
I think this, man. God damn it! I want the Phillies to win this thing so bad. I'm really rooting for them big time. I really, really, really want the Phillies to win this. My brain says the Astros are winning this thing in 6, maybe 7.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Phillies ran out of juice. I don't know what happened last night, but they looked bad.
Yeah, we're at Philly tonight, right? And then the last 2 games are in Houston.
We're in Philly tonight. Syndergaard pitching against Framber Valdez.
Yeah.
Really, really good pitching matchup. I haven't looked at the numbers, but last I saw, Syndergaard had like a 1.67 ERA in the postseason.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that shakes out.
So you're going Astros in 6 or 7?
I'll go formally. I'll go Astros in 7. I could see them just winning the next 2.
Yeah.
But the Phillies bats got to get hot.
Until last night, I was pretty confidently going Phillies. Like, they had them figured out, but then you get no hit, and it's like, well, crap, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only other no-hitter was at 56. Don Larson threw a no.
That's it. That was my trivia question. Oh. Who is the only other World Series no-hitter?
Oh, it was a perfect game. Don Larson threw a perfect game in 1956 against the Dodgers.
9 innings pitched, probably 167 pitches or something.
Oh, no, it was a perfect game, so I'm sure that it was. I don't know. My guess is it was like 95 pitches.
Really?
He didn't walk a guy.
True.
Yeah.
So no deep counts.
Yeah.
Complete
game, I don't remember
pitches.
what game it was. I think it was game 3. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Yankees go to win that World Series.
Yeah.
Come on. Really? That's the trivia question?
That was going to be it. I was going to,
You're asking me?
There was only one other playoff no-hitter. Who was that? Because I don't know that off the top of my head. They said there's been 3 total, 2 in the World Series, and then 1 other in the playoffs.
I don't know. And I do want to say it was relatively recent, though, like in the last 10 years. I vaguely remember a no-hitter in the playoffs, but I might be misremembering. So that should have been your trivia question. But yeah, Don Larson, 56. Yogi Berra was the catcher. I mean, there's phenomenal video and pictures and all that.
I told you you'd get it easy.
Golly, I'm trying to think who the last batter was because I've seen the video. I think it was Johnny Roseboro might have been the
Roy Halladay.
Roy Halladay.
Roy Halladay.
Okay. for the Phillies. And was that 08?
That was,
or 09? They lost the World Series in 09 to the Yankees. They won it in 08 to the Rays. They beat the Rays in 08.
2010.
10. They were in the playoffs in 2010.
The big stage. Was it 2010?
I didn't even know the Phillies made the playoffs in 2010. I guess it's possible.
Maybe it's 2009. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, it was Roy Halladay. Right. That's pretty cool.
Well, last 13 years, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, anyway, I mean, that's the World Series shakeup next week when we record. We're going to tell you who the World Series
We're going to know who the winner is. Yeah. So you're taking Houston. For argument's sake, I'm going to take Philly.
Okay.
See if maybe they can figure it out.
Philly in 6 or 7.
Philly in 7.
Okay.
I think, they have to, if they don't win tonight, it's over. They have to win tonight, I think.
Well, I think, right now it's game 1 of a best of 3.
Yeah.
That's really how you look at it. So you win game 1, you're probably going to win 2 of them.
We'll see.
So yeah, this is our last Around the Horn segment until spring training.
This is it.
We're
going to have we'll talk briefly about them next time, see who won.
We'll just say congratulations to whoever won.
I'm not congratulating the Astros ever.
Yeah. We'll congratulate the Phillies if they won. If the Astros win, we will just not do it. Yep. All right, next up, little professional football.
Let's do it.
Chalk Talk. 772 Sports is brought to you by the Higgins Home Group. Let the tag team of Mike and Vicky Higgins help you either find your dream home or sell your current home for top dollar. The Higgins Home Group is one of Dale Sorensen Real Estate's premier real estate teams. Give them a call at 772-532-8148. Next up, Chalk Talk. All right, this is a segment where we go over all the things going on in the NFL, the National Football League.
Your favorite segment.
It is my favorite segment. I love the NFL.
I love it too, man. I'm starting to grow to have the NFL be up there with college football.
It's always been A to my college football B. But anyway, we just had a trade deadline, Mike.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about some trades?
I do.
All right.
I got a big problem with the Colts just giving away Nyheim Hines to the Bills.
Mike's got some problems, and you're going to hear about it.
What are you guys doing? I thought you were going to make, write the front office or something.
So I definitely have some problems with Chris Ballard. I've been writing Jim Irsay like every hour on the hour for the last month to fire all these guys. Here's where it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me, but it makes sense to the front office. So just a little background here. The Colts traded Nyheim Hines, their backup running back, possibly one of the fastest guys in the NFL. I mean, he ran track at NC State.
Amazing.
I think he was in the Olympics. Maybe he wasn't in the Olympics, but he ran track at NC State. But, I mean, he's a fast guy. They traded him to Buffalo for Zach Moss and a 6th rounder. So you look at that and you say, well, 6th rounder, throw that in the garbage can. That's not really worth much. It's pretty much a straight-up trade between Hines and Moss. And why would you do that? So if on the talent side you can't figure out why they do it, what do you look at next?
Contract.
Colts are saving $4 million.
Right.
That's it. And so, again, I don't agree with it. I don't like it. The Colts should be rebuilding. They're starting Sam Ehlinger now. I mean, it's supposed to be the quarterback of the future until they draft Will Levis or whoever they're going to get. But yeah, that's why they made the trade. I don't agree with it. I don't like it, but that's why.
But, are we – so is this saying – I'm trying to look something up real quick. Are we kind of saying that the Colts are definitely not going to make the playoffs?
Well, I mean,
they're in second place in their division.
Yeah, no, but the Titans have a game and a half lead on them because of a tie or 2-game lead.
Yeah,
I think the Titans. The Colts are. Here's what the Colts are trying to do, which I hate, and I've never seen this work. They're trying to compete while rebuilding.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Pick a side, man.
Yeah.
Either you're all in, okay, and you're making the opposite of that trade.
Yeah.
Like you're giving up Hines and a 1st rounder for, I don't know, a serious running back or something. I don't know.
Right.
Actually, they should have got a receiver because they need some receiving help. Yeah, you give up Hines in the 1st rounder for Devontae Adams. That's how you do it if you're competing. If you're rebuilding, then you give up Hines and you don't need a player back.
Yeah.
You go for a 3rd and a 6th or something like that.
It feels weird.
I don't get it.
It feels weird to me. They're in second place, but they're kind of like bailing on the season. I mean, I guess I kind of, maybe they've already made their intentions known because now they're starting Ehlinger and kind of like, like you just said, it feels like they're playing for the future, but also trying to compete now, and it's just not.
I just don't see Frank Reich as the head coach of the future. And so if you're playing for the future, just wash your hands of all of this, man.
Yeah.
Start from scratch, blow it up. But yeah, Mike's pretty upset because the Bills got a really, really good weapon.
I mean, he's hard to game. Like, you can't game plan that guy. Like,
he is,
mix him with Josh Allen.
If the Colts didn't have Jonathan Taylor, a top 3 running back
Yeah.
in the NFL. Maybe not this year, but talent-wise, top 5 running back in the
Yeah.
NFL. If the Colts don't have Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines is on the field 80% of the time.
Yeah.
He's incredibly fast. He's a great receiving back.
Good hands. Great hands.
Yeah, he finds holes. He's just little.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think you worry about durability and endurance with him. But otherwise, I mean, this is a great pickup for Buffalo.
It is. It's a good pickup for, your team that you've said is the best team in the NFL, which, I pretty much agree with.
I'm picking the Bills every week.
They just get better. Yeah. A couple other moves. Did you like Roquan Smith to the Ravens? That's...
I saw that, and I didn't really put too much thought into it. I do have some other guys that I wanted to go over with you, but, I mean, it's a pickup. It's a good pickup.
It's a good pickup, man. He's probably got to be a top 5 linebacker.
I mean,
he's top 5, top 10, definitely.
He's definitely going to help. I mean, he's going to help a team that needs help.
Yeah.
I mean, Baltimore needs some help. Listen, I'm not sure that they're unequivocally the best team in the AFC North.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would take them right now, probably, just because with Jamar Chase being hurt.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati's made a run though lately.
I don't know what the Browns are doing,
but I mean, this definitely puts them at the top. I think.
Yeah. Right now, I would put them at the top. I think that.
Well, it ain't the Steelers and it ain't the Browns.
Yeah.
So it's the Bengals or the Ravens, and I think the Ravens are a little bit better than the Bengals right now with that pickup.
I do want to talk about the Browns a little bit. Let's do it after we talk about the other pickups. Was there one? Bradley Chubb to the Dolphins.
Well, I have Bradley Chubb and Wilson.
Jeff Wilson was a sneaky good pickup.
Yeah, man, that's great. They actually took a private jet.
The
Dolphins took a private jet out to San Francisco to pick him up.
Picked him up and then picked up Bradley Chubb on the way back.
But Bradley Chubb, I'm telling you right now, man, I don't know if he was underutilized in Denver. I didn't hear his name a lot.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that guy, he's a dude.
Yeah, he's a dude.
He's a dude, man.
Multi-time Pro Bowler. Dolphins already inked him to a 6-year deal, which is awesome.
I'm telling you, talk about solidifying a defense. Miami's defense is already good.
Yeah. Put him on the other side of Ingram is...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like... Miami's defense will be scared. I don't know. I might be scared to face Miami's defense.
Their secondary is pretty banged up right now, but I was excited to see that move. And
now they're going to get pressure on the quarterback. Your secondary could be non-existent.
I was equally as excited for Jeff Wilson because I could see a scenario play out where Wilson comes in and is the bell cow running back, and then Mostert is like that speed scat back guy.
The thing that I think would excite me most, and I'm not a Dolphin fan. I mean, for those that don't normally listen, I'm a Colts fan. I couldn't care less about the Dolphins, but what I'm about to say is going to make me sound like a Dolphin fan. When you get Mostert, and you get Wilson tied together with McDaniel now again, that was a hellfire offense in San Francisco, and you're starting to put those pieces back together, and you're putting this offense together in Miami with the addition of Chubb. Miami, I mean, listen, Buffalo's going to win that division. I don't care what anybody says. Buffalo's winning the East. If the Dolphins come into this thing as a wild card, be careful.
Yeah,
they could make a run. And they're putting the pieces together. And so this is what I'm talking about, Mike, not to cut you off. You look at a team like the Colts.
Yeah.
They don't know whether they want to buy or sell. The Dolphins are buying.
Yeah.
We're in it.
Yep.
And I love it. I again, not a Dolphin fan. I just love that mentality of we're going to go. This is, hey, Jim Irsay, if you're listening, I know you're not, but this is, all hands on deck. This is what you should be doing as an NFL owner, as an NFL GM. This is how you try to compete in the NFL, not what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, it's been years, man. It's been a lot of years since the Dolphins have been, have had a front office like this. And I think, hiring Mike McDaniel was huge. Like, he's completely righted the ship.
He's just got confidence, man. He's got swagger.
He's super Miami, right? Like, he's like swagger guy.
He is the antithesis to Frank Reich. Frank Reich comes in every week after the game. Oh, we got outcoached and we got outplayed. Every fucking week.
Yeah.
We got outcoached, we got outplayed. I want a Mike McDaniel comes in, and just has that confidence.
I love seeing the evolution of Tua as well because he was so doubted coming in, and he's top 3 in every major category for quarterbacks in the NFL.
Including concussions.
Yes. Yep. So hopefully they can keep him healthy, but I like what they're doing. The Bears confuse me a little bit, right? So they get rid of Raekwon Smith, they get rid of Robert Quinn, but they pick up Chase Claypool.
Yeah, again, another team that is acting like the Colts.
Like,
they're not good. Listen, the Bears suck.
Yeah.
They suck. They're not good. Rebuild. You've got your quarterback. You got Fields. Build around him. What are you doing? You going to get Chase Claypool? Like, what
weird.
are you doing?
It's weird. The only other one I had was Kadarius Toney, who's done really nothing for the Giants, going to the Chiefs.
Well, has he been hurt? I mean...
No, not really. I mean, he was hurt at the beginning of the season, but he's kind of just been.
Well, I mean, I think it's a huge pickup for the Chiefs. I really do. I mean,
Andy Reid's going to find a way to use him.
I was going to say, not that they need the weapon, but when you've got that in your arsenal, Reid will use it.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs, listen, I have the Bills as the best team in the NFL. I've said that since day one. I have the Chiefs as the second best team. And when you get a pickup like Tony, listen, man, that just puts you a little bit closer to being at the top.
He's going to help for sure. What other you got? What other talking points you got?
I got two. Three more. Hawkinson going from TJ Hawkinson going from Detroit to Minnesota.
Big.
Not that that's. I mean, listen, that's a huge pickup for Minnesota. I think it's going to help Cousins immensely.
Yeah.
I think it's going to open up things for Jefferson. But here's what I don't understand. That's an intra-division trade.
Yeah.
Why are the Lions doing that?
I don't know.
That didn't make a lot of sense to me. Calvin Ridley to the Jags.
that was nuts.
He's out, right?
Out till next year.
Okay. I don't know. What did the Jags get for him? Or what did the Atlanta get for Ridley?
I think they gave up picks. It was only picks, so it's nothing that's going to cost them right now.
Which is bizarre to me. I wasn't expecting to see his name on the ticker tape.
I like the move.
I mean, if you're the Jaguars, you're like, hey, we'll get him next year.
Yeah,
great.
like you're already kind of like, I don't think the Jags are going to catch Indy, and I certainly don't think they're going to catch Tennessee.
No, so it's a rebuilding
So it's a move for next year, which I like.
And then the last one I have, which really didn't come at the trade deadline, but because we haven't recorded in 2 weeks, Christian McCaffrey to San Francisco.
Big.
Dude, that is a massive
big
pickup. Massive.
He threw a touchdown, caught a touchdown, and ran a touchdown pass last week.
Yeah, and I forget how many guys have done that in NFL history, but it's not a handful. There were a handful that have done it, but it's not a lot.
The only thing, like Shanahan is going to find a way to scheme that guy into the game plan every week. I only question, is he going to overuse him because of McCaffrey's durability issues?
Well, yeah, we've talked about this on this podcast where can McCaffrey play a whole season?
He's a tough
healthy?
dude. Like he doesn't run away from contact, and I think that's kind of where he gets into a little bit of trouble. Like he's always running into contact and he gets hurt. But I love that move. I mean, I think is San Francisco the best team in the NFC? Philly. I mean, I guess Philly.
I mean, Philly's undefeated. You got to
give them their due. So we'll do that. But
Minnesota's up there with Get to Hawkinson.
Yeah,
I think they're really good. San Francisco's the best team in the NFC West. But listen, man. Seattle's not bad.
Geno Smith is surprising the crap out of me.
Smoke and mirrors. I don't know how they're doing it. Seattle's not bad. But I guess to answer your question, it's either Philly or San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely not Dallas.
You got to give it to Philly. I think you got to give it to Philly. Till they lose a game, they have to be the best team, right?
Yeah.
And then,
But once they lose, San Francisco jumps that rung.
So that's a good point, though. I do like Dallas a lot.
Yeah, I don't think it's Dallas, though. I mean, their defense is stellar.
I think they're probably, I think I would probably have them 3, right? So if I'm doing it right now without looking at anything, I'm going Eagles, San Fran, Dallas.
Yeah, probably. I mean, nobody in the South's any good.
I mean, it's...
So, yeah. And then Seattle? I don't know. Hey, if you guys are listening...
Giants have got to be up there.
If you got a take, for all you listeners out there... Comment on the YouTube channel. Send us something. I don't know. We're on Twitter at 772sports. Let us know what your take is. Top 5 NFC teams. It's hard.
Just rattle off your. So I'll rattle off my top 5 right now.
All right.
And I have not researched this at all. We weren't going to do, but I'll go Philly.
Yep.
I'll go San Francisco.
Yep.
I'll go Minnesota.
Yep.
I'll go Dallas.
Okay.
And then I think I'm going to go Giants right now and Seattle after that.
So your number 2 team and my number 2 team, the 49ers, are in second place.
Second place in their division.
And they're 4-4.
Yep.
How bonkers is that about parity in the NFL?
Yeah.
I know that I keep beating a dead horse, but the parity in the NFL is unbelievable. You've got a team that's 500.
Yep.
We're saying they might be the best team.
Yep. Unbelievable.
They've lost 4 games. So, anyway, again, if you guys are listening and you've got some take on this, and then in the AFC, do you have who's your top 5? I mean, I obviously, I'll tell you mine. I have Buffalo, I have Kansas City. I probably go Baltimore, and then it's just a mix, man.
Yeah, it's like
Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore. I think Cincinnati's making a run there. Like I said, that Roquan Smith trade helps Baltimore get to the top.
I think Cincy losing Jamar Chase is going to hurt them bad.
Yeah,
he's out for multiple 4 or 5, 6 games.
But you really don't have anybody. I mean, Tennessee, I guess, because they're leading the division. But the Jets, the Dolphins, Dolphins are top 5.
I think Dolphins are 5.
Yeah,
I would go Buffalo, Kansas City, probably.
I'll go. Okay, here. I'll make it formal. I'll go Buffalo, Kansas City, Dolphins, Ravens, Bengals. Those are my top 5 AFC.
Okay, I'll go Buffalo. I'll go Kansas City, and they're, to me, kind of interchangeable. Buffalo, Kansas City. I'm going to go Miami 3rd for now.
Yep.
Baltimore, and then I'm going to go Tennessee at 5.
Okay. All right.
I love Derrick Henry. I don't know if they have enough receivers to make a big run, but Derrick Henry gives you a lot.
All right. So those are our top 5. What's yours for all you listeners?
Yes.
So,
let us know.
So just a few other things before we get to pick'ems here. The Bears and the Packers have the same record. That's a bizarre stat to me. Everyone in the AFC East is 500 or better.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And the Patriots are in
last place team, right. The New England Patriots.
This is the Twilight Zone. Atlanta, the Falcons lead the NFC South. Okay, crazy. The Seattle Seahawks lead the NFC West, and they are the number 1 scoring offense in the NFC. The Seattle Seahawks, who just traded away their franchise quarterback to play their backup, Geno Smith, has the number 1 scoring offense in the NFC. The Jets. What do you got to say about Seattle?
Could that have been the all-time fleece of all time?
Dude, Denver sucks.
Yeah.
All right.
Russell Wilson is not playing very well.
Man. So that's it about the Seahawks. The Jets, 4-0 on the road.
Yeah.
Undefeated on the road. And they are 5-3. So they're 1-3 at home, 4-0 on the road.
I just real quick about the Jets. I see them really starting to come back to earth a little bit. I think they end up 4th in that division.
Yeah. They're not good. I mean, it's smoke and mirrors. Zach Wilson is great and all, and so what? But they're not very good.
Yeah.
And the last stat I have is Houston, the Texans, the only team that's winless on the road.
Yep.
So everybody else has won a road game. One other thing that I just want to touch on before our pick'ems: Dan Snyder selling Washington, selling the Commanders.
Yeah,
the R words.
That's probably the best thing for him. The guy's kind of
it's probably 10 years too late.
Kind of a scumbag.
Probably 10 years too late, but that is a very valuable franchise.
Yeah.
And if they get the right owner, they get the right GM, Washington could be put back on the map.
I agree.
So anyway, that's it.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right. You want to do some pick'ems?
Yeah,
Mike?
let's pick them. Let's roll through
it.
this.
Here we go. We are in. I gotta look at my telephone here. We are in week 9. All right. So tonight, we've already talked about Houston playing Philadelphia, but it's not in the World Series. It is on Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles visiting the Houston Texans. The Eagles coming in undefeated, 7-0. The Texans are 1-5-1. They are at home. I know they're the only team not to win on the road. That streak is going to extend this week because they're at home. Philly, 13.5-point favorite. What you got, Mike?
Eagles big.
Yeah. I mean, it's the NFL. Anything can happen. I can see Houston pulling this one off, but I'm 100% picking Philly.
Yep.
13.5-point spread. That's huge in the NFL.
Especially being at Texas, at Houston.
Yep. All right, next up, 1 o'clock, Sunday in New England, Foxborough. You've got the Indianapolis Colts visiting the New England Patriots. New England is 5.5-point favorites. Patriots are 4-4. The Colts are 3-4-1. Neither one of these teams are really that good. I'll take New England.
I got the Patriots because they're home.
Yeah, that's probably a safe bet. I mean, again, Patriots are 5.5-point favorites.
Yep.
Colts are just a mess. Not that the Patriots are any less of a mess, but yeah, Patriots are probably just slightly better. All right, next game at 1 o'clock. The used to be San Diego, now Los Angeles Chargers in Atlanta facing the Falcons. Chargers are 4-3. The 4-4 NFC South leading Atlanta Falcons. 4-4. The Chargers are 3-point favorites on the road in Atlanta.
I'm going Chargers.
I'm going to go Atlanta, and I'm going to tell you why. I've got a little theory.
All right.
For all you gamblers out there, if you've got a problem, dial 1-888-PROBLEM or whatever the number is.
Or something.
Admit it. Yeah. Here's my gambling tip of the week. When you have a team from the West Coast, like the Chargers,
and
they fly to the East Coast, they have that 3-hour difference.
Yeah.
They play a 1 o'clock game. I need to find some data to find out if this is true, but I have a feeling that messes with them.
Yeah.
And I think that Atlanta's a little bit better than their 4-4 record.
Yeah.
They're playing well. So
yeah.
I'm actually going to take Atlanta.
I got Chargers.
All right. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins at 5-3 visiting Chicago, the Windy City. They're 3-5. The Bears are. The Dolphins are 5-point road favorites. What you got?
Fins.
Yeah, I got Miami.
Fins up.
Yeah, I like Miami a lot, even though it's on the road. again, one of those funky games. I could see Justin Fields doing something crazy. It is the NFL. But, yeah, I'm going to take the Dolphins. All right, next up, the North Carolina-Charlotte Panthers at 2-6 playing Cincinnati. The Bengals at 4-4. Cincinnati 7-point favorites. What you got?
Bengals.
Yeah, I got the Bengals,
Joe
too.
Burrow's too much for...
Yeah, I mean, Carolina's
got a good defense.
Quarterbackless, although they made a run last week and 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I guess. But, yeah, they're 2-6. They're not very good.
Nope.
Cincinnati, I think they're going to roll them. All right, next up, the Green Bay Packers, 3-5, facing the Detroit Lions at 1-6. Green Bay, 3.5-point favorites. It is in Detroit.
I'm going Packers because I have to. I mean, I feel like you got to take the Packers there, but Lions have been competitive.
So the Lions score a lot of points, but they give up a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Green Bay. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go nuts. It's in a dome. It's just, yeah, I think Green Bay wins this.
I like it.
All right. The Buffalo Bills at 6-1 on the road in New Jersey, facing the Jets, 5-3. Buffalo, 12.5-point favorite.
You're taking the Jets.
I'm never gonna pick against Buffalo this year.
Both of us got Buffalo.
All right, 12.5 points. Is that too much?
No. I can see that being a 20-point.
All right. Well, we'll see. Like you said, Jets coming back to earth. All right. We have the Minnesota Vikings at 6-1. The NFC North division winners or leaders facing off
calling it already.
The Washington R-Words at 4-4. Minnesota 3.5-point favorites on the road in DC. What you got?
I got Vikings. I don't like anything really about the Commanders this year. So.
I have the Vikings. This is a Vegas trap though.
Yeah,
Vikings are going to win this game by 3 points.
All right.
Minnesota is a 3.5-point favorite.
I'm putting that in my notes.
We should be betting the house on Minnesota. Like. We should be betting the neighborhood on Minnesota. 3.5 points against a really, really bad Washington team, and Minnesota's 6-1? This makes no sense to me. Vegas, what are you doing to me? Why do you tempt me like this? I mean, this is like, I just don't get it. Vegas trap, but I'm going to take Minnesota. All right, the Las Vegas used to be Oakland, used to be Los Angeles Raiders at 2-5 in Jacksonville, facing the Jaguars, who are 2-6. The Raiders, 1.5-point favorites. It's the last 1 o'clock game of the day.
I mean, I'm taking the Raiders just because they have to win at some point, right? They can't be that bad. Are they like the best, worst team?
If the Raiders lose this game, they fire Josh McDaniel.
I could see that.
And so, again, I'll do one of these Jimbo deals where McDaniel's got to know his job's on the line.
Yeah.
I think they win. I'm taking the Raiders.
Me too.
All right, moving on to the 4 o'clock games. We only have 2 of them this week. 2 4 o'clock games this week. That's not good. That throws me off.
It's going to be weird on Red Zone.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be weird in my house. What do I do with the other 2 TVs? The Seattle Seahawks, the NFC West leading Seattle Seahawks at 5-3, facing the Arizona Cardinals in Phoenix. Arizona, 2-point favorite. The third place Arizona Cardinals are favored over the division leading Seattle Seahawks by 2 points.
I guess I'm going to go Seattle. I don't know why.
I'm going to go Seattle. I know they're on the road. I know that they're dogs, but dude, they're 5-3. They have the highest scoring offense in the NFC. Like,
yeah.
What metric are you using to pick Arizona?
Right, but I want to pick Arizona for some reason. But I'm staying on Seattle.
Yeah,
I guess because they're home. I mean, Kyler Murray has to be due for a game, right?
I guess
Call of Duty's been out for a couple weeks now, so he's probably getting old.
Done.
Yep, that's probably getting old.
Now
too,
you can focus on the playbook.
Yep, but I'll take Seahawks.
All right, I'm taking the Seahawks too. Then the other 4 o'clock game, 4:25 game, the Los Angeles Rams, 3-4, facing off against the Tampa Bay Bucks, 3-5. This is a rematch from last year's playoffs, right?
Yep, it is.
All right, so the Bucks are at home in Tampa, the home 3-point favorite, which is basically a pick 'em.
Pick 'em.
I don't know who I got in this, Mike. I'm going to take the Rams.
All right, I'm going to take the Bucks. I was going to take whatever team you didn't take. That's how pick 'em it is for me too.
All right, yeah, I'm going to take the Rams.
I got the Bucks.
Dude, if the Bucks go 3-6, Tom Brady, most eligible bachelor, Tom Brady, 3-6.
Him and Aaron Rodgers, man. I don't know what the deal is, but
yeah,
that's a conversation for another day.
You mean as far as being single or being bad quarterbacks?
Just bad quarterbacks. Single bad quarterbacks.
Single bad quarterbacks. All right, Sunday night, Tennessee 5-2 facing the Kansas City Chiefs at 5-2. It's in Kansas City. Kansas City is a 12.5-point favorite against another division-leading team that has the same record.
Yeah,
that spread is bonkers.
Yeah,
However, I see the Chiefs covering.
Yeah.
How funny is that? Obviously, I'm picking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm a sort of a fan of the Titans. I like what they
Yeah,
do.
I know.
I like Derrick
Titans
Henry.
fan,
But I don't see any way they keep up with Kansas City this week.
Yeah, no, I'm picking the Chiefs. It'll help the Colts if the Titans lose, I guess, hypothetically. I mean, the Colts have to win some games here.
Yeah, Colts win this week and Titans lose, then it's one game. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs. Again, it's in Kansas City Sunday night. And then the Monday night game, we've got the Baltimore Ravens at 5-3, visiting the Bayou, New Orleans Saints, 3-5. Baltimore, 2.5-point road favorite.
I'm going Baltimore.
I'm going to throw you for a loop.
Oh.
I don't like to pick the road team on Monday night.
All right.
Especially with a 2.5-point spread.
That's close.
I'm going to go New Orleans. I know that's a wild venture. That's a bird brain pick.
No, I like it.
But I'm going to go New Orleans.
Letting me back in the standings this week.
I'm trying. I'm doing my best. So, So just for record-keeping sake, I've got your record wrong here. I am 72-50-1. Mike is 69-53-1. It's a 3-point difference. Last week, Mike caught up 2 games on me. He went 10-5. I went 8-7. And he picked up 1 game 2 weeks ago. He went 9-5. I went 8-6.
Let's go.
We had a 6-game lead. You've shrunk that lead to 3. So I've got a 3-game lead heading into this week.
Let's do it.
All right. So what do we got next here? We've got little NBA. It's our first.
Yeah, we got NBA. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm as ready as I'm going to get.
Let's talk about the NBA.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Double Drivel. All right, this is our first NBA segment. We're calling it Double Drivel. I don't know. I thought that was probably
Double Dribble. I like it. One of my old
drivel, like drivel. Like
you said drivel.
Drivel.
I like the play on words. Okay.
There you go. Yeah. So I'm not a huge NBA guy until the playoffs start. Just because everybody makes the playoffs. Mike follows it a little bit more than I do.
I follow the Heat, man. I don't follow basketball as a whole, like you said, until we get a little bit closer to playoffs, second half. But I do enjoy watching.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we're not going to have too much for you here. Just a few things that I noticed. The Milwaukee Bucks are now 7-0.
7-0. They won last night.
So Giannis is are the Bucks going to continue to be really, really good in the East?
Yeah, I mean, they're the best team in the East by a lot.
Okay.
I think Giannis is the best player in the East by a lot.
Now, preseason-wise, the Celtics were supposed to be like the team, right?
Yeah.
And they're still up there. They're still good. But
4-2. Did they play last night? I didn't see.
I don't know.
Let me look.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure that out.
Yes, they played and lost to the Cavaliers, who are a surprising 5-1. 6-1 now.
Did LeBron go back there?
No.
Cleveland 6-1.
6-1. That's really good.
Yeah, where's Boston? So Boston 4-3.
While we're touching on the Heat, the Nets 2-6 fired their head coach Steve Nash.
Yeah, and did they hire the Celtics?
They're
coach?
hiring, the head coach from the Celtics.
The guy that got fired,
Udoka.
Yeah,
he got fired for sleeping with married women.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was all consensual. But he got not fired. He got suspended for the year. I don't know how all this is working.
If he's suspended, how can he coach another team? Did the Celtics suspend him?
Suspended him.
Okay,
it was an internal, not NBA thing.
Gotcha. So he's going to go coach the Nets now.
He's going to go coach the Nets. Nash is out of there, but the Nets are 2-6.
Yeah, not good.
Crazy start for them. Let me just make sure they're still.
Yeah,
2-6.
Brooklyn's 2-6. Yep.
Miami Heat, who I'm a huge fan of. Tyler Hero hit a game winner last night.
Against the Kings, right?
Against the Kings.
Yeah.
So,
but not very good. 2-5 Sacramento Kings.
Very good, but Miami's only 4-5, so they're not nothing to write home about yet.
Yeah, it's a little early. I mean,
it's early.
You're 9 games into an 82-game season. So.
These guys don't all really play much in the preseason, just like in NFL. So, we got a long way to go. But Milwaukee being 7-0, Cleveland 6-1, Toronto 5-3, Atlanta 5-3. Your top 4 in the East. Your top 4 in the West so far: Phoenix 6-1, Portland 5-2, Utah 6-2, Memphis 5-3,
and San Antonio is also 5-3.
Yes, San Antonio 5-3. I just saw they had their worst home loss last night in franchise history.
Oh my God!
So let me see what that was. I heard that on the way out, and I wanted to see.
That is crazy. Yeah, they lost 143-100. How do you lose by 43 and score three digits? How do you score 100 and still lose by 43
unbelievable
points? How do you give up 143 points?
That's unbelievable.
I mean, that's wild to Toronto.
We'll cover more of the NBA as we go along. Like you said, we both kind of get into it more as the season goes. I did notice that Lakers are taking Westbrook off the bench now They're 2-0 since they've started doing that.
Yeah, the Lakers stink.
But then, the guys I'm watching this year, Ja Morant, Zion Williamson, Luka in the West. In the East, I'm looking at Giannis, Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, as usual.
All right.
And that's what I got for NBA.
All right. Yeah. Well, one of my questions was before they fired Steve Nash, why does Brooklyn stink? Maybe it's because Nash was there. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean,
they should be really good.
Feels like the chemistry's not all there.
They stink.
Yeah. Kyrie Irving is kind of seems like a weird dude.
All right. And then my other question, all I had left was, how bad are the Magic going to be? They're bad, right?
Yeah, they're bad, but they're young.
Yeah.
They're fun to watch, man. They're young. They're high flying. I like watching them.
Yeah. High losing. Man, 1-7.
High losing. Yeah, that's not good, but we'll see. They started off 1-0 too, I think.
That's funny. They've lost 7 in a row.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's really it for us from the NBA. That's probably all you're going to get from us. I mean, it's like a 5-minute segment.
5-10 minute segment of NBA. Once we get closer to playoffs, once some MVP frontrunners start emerging, we'll talk more. But yeah, that's what I got, and I'm looking forward to our next segment.
All right. Our next segment is Mike's favorite, the NHL.
It's not my favorite.
We're going to talk a little hockey.
You're going to teach me a lot about hockey other than USA hockey. I've never watched a full game. So
all right. Well, here we go. This will be interesting.
Let's go.
Power play. All right, a little power play action. This is our NHL talk. You're going to get a lot from Mike.
You're not going to get anything from me, truth be told, in this segment.
So I follow the Rangers. I watch, I don't know, just about every Rangers game, almost. I don't really follow too many other teams. Mike has never watched a full hockey game, so
never.
If you're looking for some in-depth NHL stuff, you should probably just skip to the next.
That's coming from Curtis
to the next segment. But here's what I'll tell you: is again, being a Rangers fan, they're good this year. They're a top 10 team. They're not a top 5 team right now, but they're a top. I would say they're a top 10 team. They have 14 points. They are tied for the lead in the Metropolitan Division with the New Jersey Devils. The best team, I think. Definitely in the Eastern Conference is Boston. They have
9-1
points.
Huh?
Yep, they're 9-1. So just for you, Mike, for your information, if you win a game, you get 2 points.
Yes.
If you lose a game, you get 0. And if you lose in overtime, you get 1 point.
So you're looking at for standings here, you look at points, not record.
That's right.
Okay.
Points are the important part.
So even though
we're going to give a lesson to Mike here.
The Devils are 7-3. The Rangers are 6-3, but they have the same points
because they have 2 overtime losses.
Gotcha.
Yep. Okay. So you look at games played too. So the Rangers have played 11 games. The Devils have only played 10, so they have a game in hand. So even if they go and they lose in overtime, they're going to take the lead from the Rangers.
Gotcha.
Yep. So very much like the NBA, they play 82 games. Kind of a similar schedule. Sometimes they'll play back-to-backs, which is absolutely insane to me that in the NHL you play 2 nights in a row. It's like playing 2 football games in a row.
Yeah.
It's a very physical
game.
So
Vancouver having only 6 points, that's not good?
No, you don't want 6. You want more. You want more than that after 10 games. But one thing I do want to mention, and this is kind of exciting for, I think, any sports fan, the Edmonton Oilers have the 2 top goal scorers in the league.
Very cool.
Yeah, McDavid and Draisaitl. And then their goalie is 3rd in the league in goals against.
Very nice.
So Edmonton, I don't know where they are in the standings.
They're second in the Pacific.
All right. So again, they're in the Western Conference.
Points.
They're in the Pacific Division. They have 14 points. Vegas is 9-2, just a really, really good team and probably the best team in the West.
So give me some sort of context here. Is Western Conference better than Eastern Conference? Who is the power conference normally?
Traditionally, the Western Conference is a little bit better than the Eastern, although, again, you've got Boston. The Florida teams are traditionally, last year they were really good. Florida won the President's Trophy, which is the best record in the league. Tampa made it to the Eastern Conference, or made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So you do have some good teams in the East. Carolina's really good. Again, the Devils are good this year. Buffalo's good this year. But yeah, usually the West. It's kind of like the American League and National League. The American League typically has the better teams.
Right.
So
I follow sports enough to sort of know what's going on in hockey. I don't really watch hockey games, but the Pittsburgh Penguins are normally a good team, right? And I see they're struggling to start the year. Is that just they're not going to be?
I don't really know much about Pittsburgh. I know that they had Sidney Crosby and they still have him, and they've had him for a long time. They're traditionally a good team. I don't know if they're trying to rebuild. Again, I don't really follow Pittsburgh all that much.
Okay.
But they have a pretty good home record. They're 3-0-1.
Yeah.
So they got 7 points at home. They just can't seem to win on the road.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know why, but they're 1-5-1 on the road. Not good. But I don't know if that's just Crosby showing his age. I don't know if they're rebuilding. I don't know if he's even playing really. But you're right. Pittsburgh's usually a good team, and
that's all I got
this year.
That's what I know for hockey.
All right, that's it. Again, as we get further into it, as Mike learns a little bit more about hockey,
long seasons for NBA and NHL. So once we start to get in, and I'm going to watch some hockey games. So.
Yeah,
and I guess I'm going to be a Rangers fan because my wife likes the Rangers. She's from New York, so we're going to go with that.
I thought you were going to be a Lightning fan.
I'm going to go with Rangers.
Okay. All right, I like it. Rangers are good. Rangers are going to be really, really good this year.
Vicky will sit there and watch a Rangers game with me, I think.
Okay. Well, I'll start giving you some tips on some of the players and, Kreider and Shesterkin and
buy a hockey jersey.
Oh, they call them sweaters.
Sweaters. I'm going to buy a hockey sweater.
Funny story. This is great. So my kids were playing Little League last year, and one of my best friends, he was at my wedding, his family's from Canada, and his cousin came down and was visiting him, and he came to watch my kids play, and he brought his cousin with him, the Canadian guy. And so I come out to the stands to say hi to him and talk to him, and the Canadian guy says, hey, which one's your kid? And I pointed, and he says, well, what sweater number? And I'm like, dude, we're in Florida playing baseball. We don't wear sweaters, but he was referring to hockey sweaters. Yeah. So to them, every jersey is a sweater. So yeah, they're not jerseys. You're going to have to buy a hockey sweater. We'll get you a Ranger sweater, Mike.
All right, we'll do it.
All right. Next up, let's see. That's it for hockey. It's Factor Cap.
Let's do it. I'm ready. I got them.
Here we go. Fact or Cap. Some of you older folks might know this is true or false. The kids call it Factor Cap. This is where I ask Mike 2 questions. He's going to say true or false, or as the kids say, Factor Cap. He's going to ask me 2 questions, and we'll find out if they're true in later episodes.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I've got one for you.
Okay.
All right, NBA.
Yes.
The Miami Heat are your 2022-2023 Eastern Conference champions.
Cap.
They
didn't make any moves in the offseason. I do like their team. They're solid. They'll be probably top 5.
Okay. So who are you putting there? Milwaukee?
I'm putting Milwaukee there.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Milwaukee, and I like probably Boston to be up there eventually.
All right.
So I say Cap.
I say Cap as well.
Yes.
I know you're a Heat fan. I just had to ask
I am.
question,
I think they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be solid, but I don't think they're good enough.
All right.
Factor Cap, World Series goes 7 games.
Fact.
I agree.
I know that. Well, I picked Astros in 7, so I got to say 7. But I just see this seesawing back and forth, and I could see it going 7, which is exciting.
So we're both facts. I like it.
Sunday night game 7. Let's go.
I like it.
All right, Mike. Factor Cap. The Philadelphia Phillies are World Series champions. By our next podcast.
Fact.
I
like Phillies to win it. I like where they're at. I'm hesitant now a little more because they just got no hit, but. The game before that, they hit 5 home runs. So let's see what Phillies team shows up tonight, but I'll say fact.
All right.
And for you, Factor Cap, the Eagles start the season 10-0. Their next 3 games, Texans, Commanders, Colts.
Fact. However, it will not break my heart if the Colts break that streak.
No, I agree.
But I think the Colts will make them 10-0.
Okay, I agree. Fact, 10-0, but I could also see the Colts beating them.
That would just be fun.
Yeah.
Because I share an office with a big Eagles fan, and I would just like to pick on him a little bit about that. Andy Siegel, if you made it an hour and a half into this podcast, thanks.
Let's go.
All right. Well, that's it. Again, if you are on Twitter, you can follow us at 772sports. You can see us at 772sports.com. You can find this podcast anywhere. So if you're watching on YouTube and you just want to listen, you can find it on Apple. You can find it on Spotify.
We're everywhere.
Everywhere. Give us some shouts if you have some comments, anything you'd like us to cover. Put some comments on the YouTube page. You could tweet us. You can call us. Most of you listeners probably know us.
Yeah.
And again, next week we're going to try and get John Carroll on.
Yes.
What do you think?
Mickey Grudy, I like it. So last question I have for you, and then we're out of here. Are we getting around 200 listens? What are we getting? 200 or something. I know that last time we talked, we got 250 that week before, so that was
So I try to look at the numbers between YouTube and all the podcasts, and at one point we had over 250.
Nice.
So
we have hundreds of fans.
Yeah, all around the county. So as Mike Young would say, like international listeners. So anyway, all right, that's it. If you got anything for us, let us know. Otherwise, we will see you next time for episode 8.
See y'all next week.